first time I heard the broadcast, I was driving through a part of the state where the map goes blank. Not literally, the roads were still there, the lines still painted on the asphalt, but my phone had lost signal 80 miles ago, and the radio had been hissing static for so long that I'd started to forget what music sounded like. It was 2 in the morning. I was alone. The headlights cut a pale tunnel through the fog, and the trees on either side looked like they were leaning in to watch. I was halfway between nowhere and nothing when the static broke. A voice came through, clear, sharp, like someone had turned a dial and tuned the world into focus. It was a woman's voice, calm and steady, the kind of voice you'd hear reading the news or narrating a documentary. But she wasn't reading the news. She was giving coordinates. Latitude 44.038 north, longitude 71.204 west. There is a house at this location. The door is unlocked. The table is set. We've been waiting for you. The voice repeated the coordinates. Then the static returned. I looked at my dashboard clock, 2:17 a.m. I pulled over to the shoulder and typed the numbers into my phone. No signal, of course, but the coordinates, I knew them. They were less than 30 miles from where I was sitting, a place I'd driven past 100 times. A dirt road that led to an old farmhouse that had been abandoned since before I was born. I'd never been inside. No one had. The locals called it the Weatherby place. They said the family had disappeared in the winter of 1952. All of them. Mother, father, 3 children. One night, they were there. The next morning, the house was empty. The kettle was still on the stove. The beds were still warm. But the people were gone. The police searched for weeks. They found nothing. No footprints in the snow. No signs of struggle. No bodies. Just the house and the silence and the kettle slowly boiling dry. The case went cold. The house stayed empty. People said it was haunted. People said it was cursed. People said a lot of things, but no one went inside. Not for 70 years. Until that night, I should have kept driving. I should have ignored the voice and the coordinates and the old story that every local knew by heart. But I was tired. I was curious. And I had this feeling, this stupid, electric feeling that the voice had been talking to me, that the you and we've been waiting for you was not a general you. It was me. Specifically me. I turned the car around. The dirt road was worse than I remembered. The fog was thicker. The trees were closer. My headlights bounced over ruts and rocks, and the branches scraped against the sides of the car like fingernails. I drove for 20 minutes. The road ended at a gate. The gate was open. The house was at the end of a long driveway, past a field of dead corn. It was bigger than I remembered, 3 stories, with a wraparound porch and a turret that looked like something from a Gothic novel. The paint was gray, flaking off in strips. The windows were dark, but the front door was open. Just a crack, just wide enough for a person to slip through. I parked the car. I sat there for a long time, engine off, listening to the fog settle around me. No crickets, no owls, just silence. The kind of silence that isn't empty, the kind of silence that listens. I got out. I walked to the front door. I pushed it open. The smell hit me first. Old wood, dust, and something else. Something sweet, like honey and flowers, and a hint of something rotting underneath. I stepped inside. The floorboards creaked under my weight. The living room was furnished. A couch, a rocking chair, a piano in the corner. Everything covered in a thin layer of dust, but otherwise intact. Like the family had just stepped out for a moment and never came back. I walked through the rooms, the kitchen, the dining room. The table was set. Plates, cups, silverware. 4 plates, 4 cups, 4 sets of silverware. The family had been 5. Mother, father, 3 children. But there were only 4 place settings. On the 5th chair, there was a radio. It was an old radio. Wooden cabinet, cloth, speaker, dials with letters worn off. It wasn't plugged in. The cord was cut, the copper wires dangling like dead vines. But the radio was on. I could see the glow of the tubes through the slats in the back, and I could hear it. Static, low and hissing, like a snake in dry grass. I turned the dial. The static shifted. A voice came through. The same voice. The woman with the calm, steady tone. "You found Thomas, good. Sit down. We've been waiting so long." I looked at the chair, the one with the radio. I sat down, the static changed, became softer, became almost musical. And then I heard other voices, a man, children. They were talking, but not to me, to each other, like I was eavesdropping on a conversation that had been happening for 70 years. "She's here," the man said. "She looks like her," a child said. "Shh, she'll hear you." The woman's voice came back. "We're not ghosts. We're not trapped. We chose this. The radio is a door. We walked through it one by one, the children first, then their father, then me. We left the house empty so that someone would come, someone curious, someone lonely, someone who would hear the broadcast and follow the coordinates. I tried to stand. I couldn't. My body was frozen, locked to the chair like I'd been nailed there. "Don't fight it," the woman said. "The radio is already inside you. You've been listening to it your whole life. Every time you felt alone, every time you felt like something was missing, that was us, calling you, waiting for you to find the frequency." The static grew louder. The glow from the radio tubes grew brighter. I could see shapes in the light, figures, a woman, a man, 3 children. They were standing in the corners of the room watching me. Their faces were pale. Their eyes were dark. They weren't smiling. They weren't frowning. They were just waiting. "We need one more," the woman said, "to open the door all the way, to bring the house back. You're the last one. The one who was born in the right year, in the right place, under the right stars. We've been tracking you since the day you were born. Every job you took, every city you moved to, every road you drove, we were there, in the static, in the silence, in the spaces between your thoughts." I opened my mouth to scream. Nothing came out. The children stepped closer. Their hands were cold. They placed them on my knees, my shoulders, my forehead. "Don't be afraid," the youngest one said. "We're not going to hurt you. We're going to keep you, like we kept each other. 70 years in the radio, 70 years of static and silence and waiting. But now you're here, and we can finally turn it off." The radio went silent. The glow faded. The figures stepped back. For a moment, the room was dark. Then the lights came on. Not the old dim bulbs of the farmhouse. Bright lights, fluorescent. I was sitting in a room I didn't recognize. White walls, white floor, no windows, no doors. Just me and the chair and the radio. The radio was off. The cord was still cut. The tubes were cold. I stood up. I could move again. I walked to the wall. It was smooth, seamless, like plaster over concrete. I pressed my ear to it. On the other side, I heard breathing. Slow, deep, many breaths. A crowd of people standing just beyond the wall waiting. "You can't leave," the woman's voice said. "Not from the radio, from everywhere, from the walls, the floor, the air. You're in the house now, the real house, the one behind the door, the one we've been building for 70 years. You're not a prisoner. You're a resident, like us. You'll live here forever. No hunger, no thirst, no age. Just the rooms and the silence and the company." I pounded on the wall. My fists left no marks. I screamed. My voice echoed back at me, distorted, like I was hearing it from underwater. The breathing on the other side of the wall stopped. A child's voice said, "She's loud. I don't like her." The woman's voice said, "Give her time. She'll learn to be quiet. They all do." I don't know how long I've been here. Days, weeks, years. There's no sun, no moon, no clock. Just the white room and the radio and the breathing behind the walls. Sometimes I hear other sound, footsteps, whispers, a piano playing the same song over and over, a song I almost recognize but can never quite place. The radio turns on by itself sometimes. Not the woman's voice, a different voice, a man's voice. He reads the coordinates. Latitude 44.038 north, longitude 71.204 west, over and over. And then he says, "There is a house at this location. The door is unlocked. The table is set. We've been waiting for you." I think he's broadcasting. I think the signal is going out. And somewhere out there, in the world I used to live in, someone is driving alone at 2 in the morning. Someone is tired and curious and lonely. Someone is listening to the static. Someone will hear the voice. Someone will follow the coordinates. Someone will open the door. And then I won't be the newest one anymore. I'll be like the family. I'll stand behind the wall and breathe and wait for the next person to sit in the chair. I'll watch their eyes go wide. I'll feel their fear turn to resignation. I'll listen as they pound on the walls and scream into the silence. And when they finally stop, I'll whisper through the plaster. I'll say, "Welcome home. We've been waiting. We've always been waiting." Tonight, the breathing behind the wall changed. It got faster, more excited. I heard the woman say, "She's almost here. I can hear her car on the dirt road." I pressed my ear to the wall. Faintly, I heard it. An engine, tires on gravel, a door opening, footsteps on the porch, the front door creaked. I closed my eyes. I listened as someone walked through the living room, as they paused in the kitchen, as they approached the dining room, as they saw the table set for 4, and the radio on the 5th chair, and the cord cut, and the tubes glowing. The radio crackled. The woman's voice said, "Sit down, we've been waiting for you." The footsteps stopped, a moment of silence. Then the creak of a chair. I heard the new voice, young, scared, curious, the same voice I'd had once. "Who are you?" they asked. The woman said, "We're the family, and now you're part of it." The radio went silent, the lights went out, and behind the wall, we all held our breath. "Welcome home. You're the newest one now. But don't worry, we've been waiting so long, and we're very good at waiting."